To today's Mike Lead Aspirer session. We have a wonderful guest with us today. If you are watching, if you're out there on YouTube or if you're out there on YouTube or you're here, go ahead out there and like and subscribe to our channel, so we can do some different stuff, right? We try to monetize our channel to be able to get some passive income. How about that? How about that? To support us in our cause here at Minorities in Cybersecurity. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to one of our shining stars in the mic community. I'm gonna make them blush. Definitely. Kel Royster is one of our Mike Lead Builders grads. He's one of our Mike Lead Communicators grads. He's also a speaker at this year's conference and was a speaker at last year's conference. So Kel is immersed in the minorities and cybersecurity community, and what we do on these chats is we get on the phone call with individuals in the my community and just have a chit chat about you know anything under the sun or anything that comes to mind. But I will let you introduce yourself, Kel, before I ask any question.
Hey, happy Friday. What's up, fam? Thank you for the opportunity of sharing this platform and being able to talk about myself a little bit today. I'm from Virginia. I moved to Florida about 3 years ago. I've been in tech since about 2008. I started just help desk, just real simple stuff, but, you know, I moved up and I just stuck with it. And, if you saw the spotlight today, if you read the paper, you can read everything else,
There
so
you go. I was gonna say, you got to recognize that Kel was featured today in the February Mike newsletter. So, it gave you a little bit of everything, but we're gonna dig a little deeper because you're prone to gloss over stuff. So
you
yeah,
know, you
that
have
part.
you have to ask
I
me.
have to I have to pull it out of you, it
Yeah.
seems. So, all right, from Virginia, yeah, we got that. Let's say let- tell us your origin story. Why tech? Why you got into tech? How that journey worked for you?
Well, I would say tech computers were always easy. We had a computer growing up. We had the internet when it was dial-up. We had cell phones. My mom bought a cell phone, so I was like, we got to figure out how to use these things. So like where I went to school at, we had to take like a keyboarding class in middle school, before we went to high school. So I think I got like a 98 in that class. And then in high school, I signed up for like the office classes and stuff like that. It was easy. So my first big corporate job was uh, a patient chef. So this is where they had upgraded the kitchen back in Halifax, where I'm from. So it was all tech, the POS systems, the customers was able to go online and order their food. And, we got the ticket in real time. We have it ready for them in like 30 minutes or less, whatever they want, based off the diet. So I was like, it's pretty cool. So, I got tired of working as far as in the kitchen, but that technology behind it, I knew how to fix it. The old ladies was like showing me how to cook and giving me, help with recipes. But when the system went down at night, between washing the dishes and stuff, I was able to help get it back up and working. So, even if it was just a receipt, putting the paper back in there, they would always call me to fix it. So, when I got tired of cooking, I was like, hey, might as well try tech. And then like back then Obama was president, so he was big on tech. So I was like, all right, ECPI. I kept seeing 2.5 years or less. And like you say, I like to get it done. So that's what I did.
Mhm,
And it worked
mhm,
out. So it
mhm.
really did. So
Yeah, okay. So you had that love at an early age and was able to translate that into a career path. But you know, we're going to step you through the first corporate role, and because many individuals And these sessions are for the aspirers. These are for folks that may not know anything about what it means to work in a corporate environment. And so I would ask you, what were some of the challenges that you faced going from a kitchen, right, into a corporate role in technology?
Ooh,
First one that come to mind.
I would say it's really similar. It's just we
Really?
just don't have, you're just not around the food. I mean, I really think when you're around people, it's still always like school. I don't care how old or how professional, it's different people with different views. So
Mhm.
just the type of person I am, like I said, I'm a Sagittarius. I usually get along with everybody, or it can at least, relate on some type of level. So the older people, you might be good, but you're not better than them. So you have to pay respect. And then the
Mhm.
younger people that, may have better backgrounds or may have been more privileged than you, may try to be snooty, but you know, I was just always able to kind of blend in and just, all right, whatever. you know, but I think the biggest thing was not being so naive because coming from back home, you had people that usually had your back and had good intentions. But when you go out here, you can't always just be, oh, all right, cool. So just kind of making sure that I was a little bit more dot my I's and crossing my T's. So
Mhm, mhm. Okay, so what so for someone else out there that's listening that potentially are like, I have no idea what it's going to be like to grow in this profession, or grow in a professional space, what advice would you give for them?
I would say if you're passionate about it, stay passionate about it. It's never going to always be easy. It's never just going to be one straight line. It might work that way yesterday, and tomorrow is totally different, or it doesn't even exist anymore. So take yourself serious, but don't take yourself too serious. But no, you could go in here and do it just like everybody else. Um, and then AI's out here now. So it's just like it's even easier. Honestly, once you in here and
What do you
you
mean by
develop that
that?
work ethic, because sometimes you do forget stuff. You have to take these tests, you have to study, you have to know your background, but also staying ready. I think is one thing we always say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, which means kind of when you're able to do your research and able to be prepared for the day, when you do get that job, try to understand what your daily activities are and just be obsessed with it. Like, be like, what's that movie? Hey, Mr. Wilson. Like, you might have to get on whoever's training you nerves. You might not have the documentation. It's never going to be perfect, but you have to just stay consistent, try to get a little bit better every day, whatever it is that you end up getting to in the field. And
So
that's
you advocate for um essentially using AI as a tool to maintain your skills, right? The
that too.
sharpness.
That too.
Hmm.
Not just AI. I'm actually taking a cohort right now as well with UCF. And just because I like to stay current on my skills. So even though I went to ECPI, I had my bachelor's in IS, I got my master's in cybersecurity. I got a certificate with Denmark Technical College with risk management. And then I'm working on this one. I got like 2 more weeks of this with a 60-day course. I just try to stay fresh, try to keep remembering what what's out there and
Hmm.
see what's new. I'm not necessarily having to work as hard now because when new things come up on the job, it's just like, let me dig a little bit deeper into this. And that just might be from an incident call. And I'd be like, I remember this, but I never really dealt with this technology. So I go, and look it up. And depending on what I may have to do with it, the next time it comes up, I want to at least be able to speak to it, at least be able to understand how it works and how it could affect other things. So that first couple times it's like, all right, what is it again? How does it work? And then the next couple
Mhm.
times you're like, all right, so what can I do to add value to it? Even if it's just like creating a document to say how it works and best practices. So next time I'm not just, I don't know it. So just
Mhm.
it's just like when you're working out, if you want a certain physique, you got to keep working on it. You just can't do it one time and things gonna stay like that. So
Don't get me started.
hey.
My workout routine. Please don't get me started. So it's a matter of staying curious, is what I kind of hear you saying. It's like you're a lifetime learner.
Yes.
Right. Right. So tell us your tech journey. So you mentioned help desk and the transition from help desk into what you're doing now. So talk to us about that particular journey, specifically, what you did before and how you matriculated to where you are now.
I can't even lie. Like sometimes I look back and it's be like, I can't even believe it, based off of, just life right now, some things that are happening. Like, and I think that's why I like Mike so much because I'm able to mentor because I've kind of had a little privilege myself. When I got in, I mean, it was different. Like contractors was out there. I did little physical jobs where I was like setting up computers, and then it was a guy back in the day. He used to even pick me up and we would go to work. You know what I'm saying? Because me and my friend back then, we only had one car. So she was a nurse, she had to drive. So he would pick me up and we would go to work. We would set up computers at these corporate offices, lay fiber and cables and stuff like that back in the day. I mean, it was just bags out there. It was always some money. It was always a contract. It was always something to do. Like I picked up little contracts. I always signed up to be on call because the way you get the experience is just getting out there, getting your hands dirty. So
Mm,
from customer service, because I did a little T-Mobile, I dealt that, but I was good. You got to know how to talk to people. And I think that's the biggest help, that emotional intelligence and understanding, like, all right, let's get off the phone, because we'll try this again tomorrow. You have
mm,
to understand that a lot of times finding out the problem is the biggest problem. The answer is easy usually, but figuring out
mhm,
what the problem really is
mhm,
usually the bummer. So
mm,
with different backgrounds and from help desk, I was actually able to get promoted when I was at a law firm and I went into network security. And that was crazy. Like I was just like, what? And like I said, I got trained by somebody senior who want weekends off. So yes, I'm cool. I'm easy to get along with. I come to work on time, you know. I work on call. I switch shifts. Hey, you know,
mm,
it was enough money for me to go party when I wanted to do what I needed to do. So, like, honestly, like I said, work and life is a balance. We want to be successful at work. We want to be successful at home, and we want to be able to take care of our families and wake up and live another day. So that's just what it's always been for me. And then from network security, I was able to get into my first banking job as a production support engineer. And I worked night shift for almost like 5 years. And that was different. That was like, you talk about running the engine, you know, law firm was different in itself. Like, I love that because documentation is 1,000. I loved working at law firms. Banks are just another level, and I love that too. But it's just like transitioning. It's like from driving a Honda to a Beamer, and both the Honda's nice, but the Beamer, So it's just like, you know, it's amazing. And like I say, some days it's chill. Other days you just like, oh my God, I need to take 2 weeks off. And but I love it, you know. It's a crazy ride. So yeah.
I'm talking on mute. Yeah, I mean it sounds like it, and so you know what I hear you saying is you just about grinding, right? And it's about getting out there and maybe doing some things that you need to do. in order to get that reputation or get your brand or build your brand in that regard. Just staying curious and hard work. That's what it sounds like. So
Yeah.
as you matriculated up into where you are today, right? You want to shout out that title, sir?
Yes, I am the VP of Application Support at Bank of New York here in Lake Mary, Florida. And like I said, it's coming up on a year here in May, and it's been amazing. Like I said, the velocity of working in a financial institution is mind blowing, and I could never have enough words to say it. But it changes your mind because it's almost like my granddad, he was in the Navy, and I got a lot of homies in the Navy. But it's just like you train for it. Like I never want to be a statistic. Like I do something a certain way, I get trained, but I always want to put my brand on it. Like I like to double check and triple check. I even double check myself, because I want to make things better. I came in here for a reason and I take my name seriously with whatever or whoever or wherever I'm at, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just me.
Yeah. No, no. I mean, even going all the way back. So we're gonna talk about Mike for a little bit here. And you know, you spent the year with me, right? So you went through the Mike Lee Builders course and then the Mike Lee Communicators course back to back. It was a couple
Yes.
of you guys that stayed the whole year, gave up every other Saturday for an entire year. So let's go back and why did you decide to go into the Mike Lead Builders course before he got the VP job, by the way. I take credit for it, but we're gonna
Yes. I
let Kel
said,
tell the story.
whole life wellness, and my work life balance. But yeah, COVID. After COVID, it was the whole working in the office thing, and then I had lost my sister and my only sister, and that was me in between that and moving to Florida from Virginia, by myself, and I think I was going through a breakup, and it was just a lot going on. And so it was just me and my dog out here. So I was actually in a risk management at Denmark Technical College at that time. But I was working remote still with the same job when I was in Virginia. So it was just it was like a knock on the forehead. Like it was the community I needed. It was the sternness I needed. It was like the wake up, the hey, regardless of what's going on, get up, take care of yourself, get it done. Like it was just really like a light bulb, you know, not that I ever thought that I lacked confidence. It just showed me how much more confidence that I needed to have out here. So that's just what it was. So, and I'm
So
grateful.
why did you stay? Right? Why go from the builders to back communicators, right? What was that decision like?
I got used to it. I've been partying since I was not even old enough to be partying. So this was like aligning me for the father, the man that I want to be in life. You know what I mean? Like I want to be successful. I don't want to keep doing the same dumb stuff I did in my 20s. Like, and they say you crazy if you think you can continue to do the same thing and expect different results. So, um, I learned the hard way on a lot of things, but at the same time, I'm still here. I'm still able every day to do better than I did yesterday. And that's just what it is. So,
Mhm. That sounds good. So, I mean, as a minority leader in the space, right? Um, Challenges and with peer relationships. Of course, what's going on out there right now? Let's get that out there. Um, there are individuals that specifically in and around the community that mentioned backlash or being questioned about their rightful place in a particular job that they're in. right? Because, when I yeah, unconscious bias is a thing. I could tell you guys stories. Bias is a thing, but straight out aggression is something that I haven't had to deal with in my career, but I'm hearing stories of individuals that are receiving real aggression towards or hostility towards their actually being in a corporate space, which is baffling to me. But have you had any challenges in the past or in the future with individuals questioning your intelligence or right to be in the roles and the positions that you're in?
Well, that is a great question. And it kind of stems into my whole life balance too, because I don't personally deal with it per se on the job right now, but I do live in Florida, you know. Um, luckily, I mean, it's a gift and a curse. I'm a certified asshole. Excuse my language, so, or maybe a
So
recovering.
wait, you got your certificate. You got your certificate. I'm sorry. Go ahead. All
But,
these people looking for certs. I want to find out where you got that asshole certificate from. I need to know. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would probably have to say getting mentored by some people at the law firm. But hey, hey Mary, look, listen. But hey, sometimes you just gotta learn how to pivot, and stand up for yourself. A lot of times I was don't say that, don't do that. But sometimes you have to stand up for yourself, or stand down, because there have been times where I've been in a situation where people think I'm not supposed to be there and I'm not supposed to have or say little smart comments, but you have to be the bigger person. But like I said, you just gotta be smarter. I mean, everybody, let me say, if you don't have any haters, you're not popping. So if you use that as confidence, just know you're doing all right. If somebody is picking and prodding, you know what I'm saying? That's it. So just try to make sure you out here and you're able to protect yourself because some people are crazy. Let's not forget that. But that's it. You don't have any haters, you're not popping.
Well, I mean, it's easier said than done, especially when you are in a job that's paying you six figures, right? And of course, being in that position, right? And you're like, okay, this is my livelihood, right? But this person, the hostility that I'm receiving, it used to be a thing called hostile work environments that corporations were afraid of. Now the legal risk has a lot more to do with, and I'm going to say it, ESG type of initiatives like DEI, ESG is environmental, social, and governance, and DEI usually falls under ESG initiatives. And so the legal risk now associated with these types of initiatives because of, what the current administration and others that are aggressively pursuing the or trying to take us back to a place that we're so far beyond as a country, right? And so that they seem to be more afraid of the legal risk than the hostile work environment, that creating a hostile work environment risk. And so I'm not out there. I work for myself. I don't harass myself. I don't create a hostile work environment. There's a very loving environment in the MiC community. But in dealing with those things, because what I remember, there have been many women that have had to deal with sexual harassment and all of these other things, but it just seems to be a lack of decorum. And other folks are now emboldened to speak in a way that they wouldn't before. And so it's easier to say that balance, but you have to admit that today's environments are different than just even this time last year.
Definitely. Definitely. It's different. It's different out here. Um, People have a lot of different emotions, and I don't really always know how to feel about that, and I really don't always try to feel. You know, it's your problem. You know what I'm saying? I just know one thing: life is way too short, and I'm going to help who I can help. I'm going to, you know, be as successful as I can be. Um, and when it comes to a point where I do have to stand up for a cause, you know what they say, if you don't stand for nothing, you fall for anything, you know. And that's another part of just about being knowledgeable out here and understanding your surroundings and who you tied up with. I love peace. I preach peace. I try to only be around peaceful places. That's why I don't really go out like that because you don't know what energy you're going to be around. And me personally, I'm trying to wake up and go to work tomorrow, take my grandbaby to the park, I got bigger fish to fry than to be sitting here worried about, honestly, the goal is to not work, maybe I need to play the lottery a little bit, get in these stocks, but when I do work, I'm doing this for a reason. We doing this for a reason. We all, whatever job we have out here, you know? So,
Okay, so given your as it okay, as it relates to your own professional journey,
mhm.
right? Um, what has been the most useful tool in your toolbox that you could pass on to others to utilize or to put in their toolbox for success?
Hmm. Have a backbone, you know, be able to be teachable, uh, but also, like I said, have a brand, you know, like not a smell, but kind of like when you've done something, you be like, oh, Mary was over there, right? Yeah, just be great. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just do stuff to do it. If you're not doing it to be great, then what you doing it for? Whatever you doing, right? Simple as
Mhm.
that. If it means that much to you. It's not, I ain't say it's gonna be easy, but like I've always been told, you have to set goals big enough for yourself sometimes that it might take a lifetime to attain. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's never going to be a straight path. What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow, you know? Or you might have to, I can only control what I can control. But I'm not gonna stress myself out in the meantime when things not going my way. You know, we gotta stay resilient.
There's the word. There you go. There you go. Building your resiliency.
Yes.
Right. That's the most, useful tool, right? And being able to still thrive as you're going through there, right? You're gonna have challenges, you're gonna experience challenges, but what do you do in the wake of those, in the face of those? That's important. I do have questions. I am monitoring, or I was monitoring the YouTube channel. If anybody's out there watching with any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Um, and my dog is trying to jump on my lap, and so I'm giving him the Heisman right now. Or if anybody here that's has a question, that's in attendance here that has a question for Cal, please feel free to put it in the chat, and I can monitor that all. But I'm going for, because you mentioned, you threw out there, granddad, you threw out there dad, and when he said he was there with his dog, he was talking about his dog, not his boys, but his dog. So when he moved down to Florida. So how important would you say that nucleus is in being able to not only, as you say, work-life balance, but also, nurturing the family aspects of things along with, because, sometimes it's unbalanced.
Exactly. And it make everything else that much harder, you know. because I work hard for my family. So if my family's off or out of balance, I might usually I'm pretty good at keeping it copacetic, but I might be off a little bit. I might be a little more stern. I might be a little bit more short. The work's still gonna get done. But my thing is too, if I can't give it 100%, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna take a day off. That's it. Simple as that. Because I'm not stressing myself out. I'm only one person. If I can't be my best self for me, I can't be my best self for you. And that's just part of it. That's just how I go. So,
Well, I mean, you say it like that, like it's easy. Now, I've been a corporate
I ain't saying it was
executive,
easy.
right? I've been a corporate executive, in cybersecurity, right? And you say stay on call and all that other stuff. I was responsible to be 24/7. So when I say sometimes it's not balanced, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves in that word or in that grouping of words, work life balance, especially women, especially a parent, right? Because there are going to be times, and there were times in my past where I miss things, right? I miss things because I had other responsibilities. And if I remember getting a call on Christmas Eve because hackers don't hack went during office hours. No, it was New Year's Eve. Hackers don't, the bad guys don't come during 9 to 5 working hours. They do not. They come at 5 o'clock on Friday. They're probably hitting your network right now because everybody's off work. But I mean, there were times, and I know, I tell people that sometimes it's just not going to be balanced, and you have to determine what it is that is important for you at that particular moment. It'll get back, right? But when you're in the middle of an incident, because that was my life, even with the FBI. It's the worst day in the world to call the FBI, a corporation calling the FBI. That's a bad day. That's a bad day for a cybersecurity incident, right? And so it becomes okay, give me this opportunity. So I used to have to tell my children, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. I know mommy's attention is not on you at this moment, at this exact moment. However, I'm dealing with blah, 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 blah. And so we at least as women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to maintain that balance. And I find that no, it is just not, and there are days that it will be and days that it won't be. And you just have to be able to adjust accordingly. So, I mean, I'm a CEO, I run two companies. Do I have work-life balance? I work 7 days a week. Do I work 8 hour days, 10 hour days, 7 days a week? Absolutely not. I said, but you know, I do work. There is a meeting on my calendar 7 days a week, right? I teach the leadership classes on Saturdays, right? We teach those, we meet the trainers, and then we have our team meetings on Sundays. It just is what it is, but it gives me this flow, right? That I'm able to, like, my daughter has this event tomorrow, and she was like, "Oh, mom, I know you're busy." I said, "But I can go to that one. I can make that one." Right? It's like, okay, I'm not teaching tomorrow, so well, I am, but I'm teaching in the afternoon. I can make that one. So it just, it's when you're struggling, right? And you're struggling to find, because you have to study cybersecurity, especially when you're trying to break into it, is intensive, right? You have to maintain a certain level of understanding. You have to dig deep, especially, and I tell the apprentices out there that, and the ones that are listening that could be listening now, you have to give yourself grace to understand that you're learning something new. Those that are brand new to the space. And so it's not going to be balanced because you're going to get overwhelmed because it's a lot of stuff. But just think about it like this: you didn't learn to walk immediately. it, my kids went through the combat crawl. They used to prefer crawling over for walking. But once you get it, right? And then you just get better at it, right? And so those are the types of things that I'd like to get out there when we start talking about building the career and giving yourself grace to understand that your effort is your effort, and there's going to be some bumps along the road, but that doesn't mean you have to stop, right? Or that doesn't mean you're not good enough. And that doesn't mean anything other than you are trying to get up to speed on stuff, right?
Good.
Yeah. Yep. So my question, Mr. Royster, what's next in your career?
What's next in my career? You know, I have to be honest. I'm intrigued where I'm at right now. It's still kind
Mhm.
of fresh and it challenges me every day. And I don't like to get bored in anything,
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm fine tuning. I'm seeing how I can be more valuable and seeing what opportunities, I can take up in
Mhm.
my current lane, you know.
Okay. Okay.
But right now, like you said, you was using the metaphor about the walking, then my granddaughter just started walking. So that's teaching her new words as well. Just balance, like you said, balancing that out.
Mhm.
Because my daughter, she works security. She's a physical security guard. So it's just like making sure we're all kind of growing um in our little ecosystem,
Mhm.
out here in Florida.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Like,
So but what I mean, okay, so I'm gonna ask you this question because I don't teach y'all to think just immediate. I teach in leadership development to think 1, 5, 7, 10 years down the line, right? And so as you're looking at it right now, absolutely, you're still learning, you're still growing, so there's still room. But are there anything that you say, okay, well, this is where I want, this is a particular road on this journey that I want to take. Not a destination, not a final destination, but different areas of IT or cybersecurity that you want to learn more about or do more about, or you still trying to figure that piece out.
it's not even about figuring it out. I think I have a crazy relationship with incident management chaos and APIs and why stuff breaks and how things are interconnected and just big data. And um as of right now, like I said, because I've touched so much stuff, it's just like I kind of like the application support. And that's why I keep kind of still tapping into the risk management so I can understand how to kind of fine tune and look at certain things, when I'm
Mhm,
when I'm in
mhm,
the heat of the moment of trying to fix something or trying to figure out why something keeps doing this. So honestly, Mary, with me being in the game probably almost what I say, I graduated in 2008 the first time. You do the math, That's
mhm.
but
I
listen,
think it's times two when you
yeah,
start talking about me. So
listen,
that's
yeah.
about 16 years, I guess. Yeah.
And it changes every day. And
Hmm.
when you're a part of um, somewhere like BNY, you already have internal training that you're doing as well. Um, I'm just curious about everything, and I really don't
Hmm.
want to have to choose, and I think that's okay. I like what I'm doing. I like
Oh.
I like being able to touch everything or being able to know like
Mhm.
this. Now, if it's an opportunity that comes up because I'm kind of like touching this a little bit more, yeah. But I like the
Mhm.
vendor management. I like, you know, being able to work with this team and deploy certain stuff. Like I'm being able to touch everything that I'm learning about. So, and like I said, I really just be in the matrix and I've got that's my lifestyle.
Well, I mean, and that's fine, right? You like to be in the weeds with it. So no leading corporate teams in your future. You like to be hands on. That's
I'm
That's what I'm
cool.
hearing.
Wait till baby girl at least get in school, because like I said, the level of stress and stuff like that, I don't mind delegating tasks. I don't mind letting somebody. I don't. It's enough work for everybody. In most places, right? So it's enough work for everybody. I don't need to be your boss. I'm a boss of
Mhm,
myself. If you need
mhm.
me to boss up on something, then let's talk about the scope. Let's talk about what we need it to look like, and let's get it done. But yeah, maybe. But like I said, I'm still growing. You know.
Well, I mean, and it's interesting because in the lead programs we teach you that not everybody is meant to be or wants to be
Mhm.
in people leadership, and that's a whole thing in of itself, right? And so I we teach that part of your um, growth and responsibility as a leader is to figure that out,
Mhm.
because being a people leader is different, right? Because it's less about you. It's more about how you actually communicate and how you have your team run. It's like the team itself is your end result, right? And so the things that you need from people or the types of skills that you need to be able to motivate people to be able to communicate effectively, especially in stressful situations, right? Cybersecurity is a stressful job, especially when something's gone wrong, when there's a breach or there's an incident response issue. And so how do you lead under crisis, right? That those types of skills are not something that they teach you in college. And so that's what we do within the Mike Lead programs themselves, is to give you those tools to be able to talk respectively or at whatever in the middle of a crisis, to be able to get stuff done when you're under fire. And so I would say, we'll spend the last 15 minutes or so talking about Mike and why you are so bullish on minorities in cybersecurity.
Hey, Mike's been here for me for a long time, man. I got the utmost respect for you. You like the coolest, realest, smartest person that I ever met, and that's book and real world. So you don't really get to meet that many type of people in life, you know. And I think your heart is immaculate, because most people not really out here like adamantly trying to help people, you know, excel, not just get a job, yeah, but you're actually, the job helps you take care of your family. Like the corporate leadership skills have you take care of yourself, um, and your brand and what you stand for, and it's just a beautiful thing. It just makes sense, Like I already knew I was different. Yeah, I like to party. Yeah, I might be a little hood in some ways, but I'm still corporate. And I always know I don't always get along with everybody that looks like me. But when I came here, it was just like, oh, all right. So like, like my corny was cool. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's easy, it's fun. And then it's other people that I meet, they got that same look or that same vibe that I had when I was trying to go, or that first day at work when you in the office and you just like, or that first day that you the implementer on the change, you just be looking like a deer in headlights, but it's like, bro, just look at the steps, you can ask questions beforehand, like just breathe. Like I think early in my career I was so anxious, but Mike kind of helped me just be like, yo, bro, chill. You like, just relax. You can do this.
Anxious about what? Wanting to know
No.
everything.
Yeah, just
Mhm,
just feeling like you had to know everything, or like you said, like just people picking and prodding, and you just trying to be right all the time, just trying to keep it.
mhm,
You think, well, like, bro, you do not have to do
mhm.
that. So
Right. But
naive.
that's a good point though, because I do share with the apprentices, and one of the topics in the conference is there's no such thing as fake it till you make it, right? You're not gonna know, and it's okay. if you can read, you can learn, right? And the apprentices and the lead grads and it's funny when I listen to you guys because y'all give me my words back. Miss Mary don't like it if you don't read. You better read for comprehension. You better understand. Don't come to her with questions that you can find out yourself. But that's true. That's cybersecurity. It's the biggest advice that I can give someone is and as I go through because we just started another cohort of apprentices last week, you control your effort. If you read a word and you don't know what that word means, don't keep going. We understand the concept and what that word means, right? And if you still have questions, keep researching, right? We have our little Kai AI bot, you know, we have you have all of these, you have Google, you have all of these tools available to you. And I think one of the challenges that I have with in trying to get people to understand is that there are so many people pushing certification, so many people pushing boot camps, and they'll tell you, oh, you just take this 12-week boot camp and the job was yours, right? That's not true. I mean, if anything, if you're listening to what Kel is saying, I mean, Kel, do you disagree? Let me ask that question.
Hey, I mean, maybe back in the day, might have been a few ones that looked like that, but I don't really see them no more.
All right.
Unless you paid for it. I have seen some of those.
You've seen someone.
I've seen some that you could pay for and you get trained,
Mhm.
you get a job. But I'm like, if I had the money, then what do I need the job for? Like,
Well, I mean, even I've had people tell me they pay for these programs and still don't have a job at the end of it. And what I tell people is this is a journey, right? And there are people, if you're out there and you're just starting to, we're just piquing your curiosity about cybersecurity, right? I would say give yourself at least 18 months. And well, that's if you have any certification, right? Because the way, it is a long-term strategy and everything changes daily. So if your heart is not in it, because I get those too. Oh, I heard they make a lot of money and I'm going to go in tech or go into cybersecurity. That is just not going to be a way for you to be successful at where you're trying to get to, right? You have to understand that there is a place for you, and your job is to figure out which area is aligned to what you're doing. Right? Would you agree with that, Kel?
wholeheartedly, because it's so much out there,
Mhm.
it really is. And you might get the certification to be an analyst or an auditor, but then, your job role might be engineer or, whatever, so it's just like you have to be passionate. You have to, like I said, be willing to train, be willing to be teachable, be willing to be wrong sometimes, be willing to do it on the fly. But you just gotta stay hungry. That's it. Like,
Mhm.
we
But don't be
keep every
anxious. Don't
morning.
be out
Yeah,
there like you. Don't be out there
yeah,
like you thinking you're supposed to know everything because you don't.
you don't. Now, like I said, early in the game, I thought I had to do that. I'm studying for everything. I gotta do all this, but no, like figure out what you're doing and do it well, you know, and like you said, Mary, we can't want it more than you. So that's it.
That is an absolute. See, y'all give my quotes back to me. That is absolutely true. I can't want you to be here more than you want to be here. That's absolutely facts. But no, I don't have anything else you wanna give impart your wisdom on the folks out there that are listening.
I could talk for days, Mary, but if there's any questions, yes it. But like, the spotlight was out there. Mary's doing great things with keeping us visible and having us writing these excerpts and stuff like that. But you know, it's all love. I love it. It challenges my mindset and it makes me uh, just think different. You know, just do different stuff. You know, and thank you for allowing me to be such uh, uh, a aspiring part of my. You know, like I've never been able to do this much stuff, like interviews and stuff like that. I really enjoy this. Like, thank you.
Yeah,
This is like,
absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's definitely important to maintain the spotlight on everyone in the community that's doing great work. I think if we don't have this type of outlet to be able to share with people, then they won't know that there are people that look like us in this field, right? And because you can feel isolated, you can feel alone. That the 30 plus years of experience that I've had, yeah, I've been in spaces where I've been the only, I've been in corporate environments where I've been the only. You need a place to go
mhm.
where you're not the only, because it can be isolating. And don't self isolate. I tell people that all the time. Minorities, underrepresented groups, we have the, whenever we're afraid, we tend to isolate ourselves and try to insulate ourselves as if, our power is not in the community. The power is in the ability to have people that look like you, that have gone through what you've gone through, to give you advice and counsel on how to get through it. You need that community. You need organizations like Minorities in Cybersecurity to be able to say, okay, yeah, all right, I know you mad, right? I know you angry. Tell you what you need to do to get that anger out, but then I'm gonna tell you what you need to do in order to still be positive before you send the email, right? There's a difference between saying what you want to say in a Word document and saying and pressing send. Never, ever, 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 ever. This is my advice for you. If you're feeling emotional, start with an email. Just open a Word doc. That's a step, right? All of these little tools that you use, right? And it's not all, I don't want you guys to get the impression that it's all bad, right? Because there are organizations out there, there are cultures, there are organizations that have cultures out there. Like Kel pointed out, he's in a sweet spot. But we need to find more of those organizations that understand the importance of a healthy work environment, because what's happening right now, and we're about to get busy. I'm gonna tell you why we're gonna get busy. And I read an article today that did not surprise me. That I read an article today that says China and Russia are actually going out there creating jobs on LinkedIn and targeting government workers that have been laid off, government workers that have security clearances, right? Government workers. Why am I getting dark? Oh, my gestures are on. Government workers that are disgruntled, right? As an intelligence, a former intelligence professional with the FBI, that's a gold mine for anybody that's trying to um, hack organizations, right? You lay off a whole bunch of network security people and they're pissed off. Guess what? Right. And then they put on LinkedIn that they're open to new roles. Now you're getting targeted, right? By, could be foreign entities. And that makes security, information security, cybersecurity professionals' jobs that much harder, because internal threat is a thing, right? You're letting go all of this these folks with all of this intelligence about how your organization works, and you're just letting them go, right? That's a risk.
I'm smished and vished daily, multiple times a day. It's humorous for me. I read it. I don't, I just get rid of it. I'm just like, really?
Smish is
Yeah.
SMS
Mhm.
phishing,
Yes.
and then phishing is your email phishing,
Mhm.
right? Just so if you using acronyms, I need to educate. So But yes, but it, and you have to be wary of that right now, right? But then what I mean for us as professionals that are charged with defending networks, defending organizations, it becomes challenging, right? Now it becomes much more of a challenge. And so it keeps us employed.
Yeah, seriously, it's provocative.
Um, it keeps us employed, but it doesn't mean we lack things to do. How about that? It doesn't bode well for work-life balance. How about that?
Listen, listen.
But thank you so much, Kel, for visiting with us on the Mike Lead Aspires session today. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for your feature write-up in the Mike newsletter. If you're interested in reading the newsletter, you can go out there on our website, which is www.mincybsec.org. It's the first three letters of minorities in cybersecurity. So, or you can spell out entirely minoriesandcybersecurity.org, but people tend to do some typos when that long one. But you can find Kel on LinkedIn, you can find Mary on like LinkedIn. As I said, like and subscribe to our channel, and we will be back in a couple of weeks for our next Elite Aspire session. So take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye.